Alrighty, and welcome back to the Mother-Daughter Disney podcast. My name is Amanda. I'm here with my lovely mother.
Hi, I'm Janette.
And we are celebrating 250 years of America this week, which is very exciting for America. So we are going to deep dive into Epcot's American Pavilion to celebrate. I think this is our last pavilion, actually, to deep dive into.
Yeah.
So one day we can finally rank all the pavilions in Epcot because we haven't done that yet. But all right, so let's get into it. So the American Pavilion is located between the Italy and Japan pavilions. It is considered, I say in quotes, the host pavilion of the World Showcase, since it's directly across, from the World Showcase Lagoon. And it was one of the original pavilions as well, too, opening on October 1st, 1982 in Epcot. So let's look into some history. The American Adventure Pavilion, that's its official name, which I think is kind of funny. The other pavilions don't necessarily have official names, but this is called the American Adventure Pavilion.
Adventure Pavilion. Yeah, they use that word.
Yeah. Well, that's the name of the show, too.
Well, that's the name. I was going to say, isn't that the name of the show?
Yeah. All right, so the pavilion was designed to look like a grand colonial style building, but its inspiration pulls from several real American landmarks. So the architecture has roots in Independence Hall, Boston's Old State House, Monticello. In Italian, that would be Monticello. Okay. And Colonial Williamsburg. The building itself is much larger than it appears. The pavilion is 5 stories tall, but the forced perspective actually makes it look 2.5 stories tall.
Oh, wow.
And this helps the building feel more historically accurate, since colonial style buildings were typically not meant to look overly tall or massive. I think that's interesting that they use forced perspective.
I have to look at it next time now and see where the other 3 floors are.
Yeah, they're hiding them.
Okay.
The exterior uses 110,000 bricks, all handmade from Georgia clay, and they were tinted and aged to give the building a more authentic historic look. And also inside, the floors are made from marble and copper, which is pretty normal for a lot of state buildings. All right, the lobby is a square room with an oval-shaped center and a dome ceiling. Along the walls, you can find quotes from notable Americans, including Walt Disney and Charles Lindbergh, along with artwork that depicts different moments in American life. As guests move upstairs toward the theater, they'll pass through the Hall of Flags, which displays flags from throughout the U.S. history, which is one of my favorite parts of the building, actually. Inside the theater, there is more American symbolism. There are 12 statues, 6 on each side, representing American values such as freedom, innovation, individualism, knowledge, self-reliance, adventure, compassion, discovery, heritage, independence, pioneering, and tomorrow.
So that would be a good trivia question.
It's funny because I've seen the 12 statues before, of course, but I've never really thought what they
all stand for.
I thought they were more like Greek god type things than anything else. But no, apparently they're American
they were just
symbolism.
different stages of of the wars and different things, but I didn't realize they were standing for that.
All right, so the main attraction here in the American Pavilion is the American Adventure Show. So this main attraction is inside the main pavilion and is a theater-style show that runs just under about 29 minutes, so just under 30 minutes, uses 35 different audio animatronic figures. The show, I say, is hosted in quotes by Benjamin Franklin and Mark Twain and is voiced by Dallas McKennon and John Anderson. Instead of just a regular film like some of the other pavilions have, the attraction combines the audio animatronics, moving sets, projected images, music, and a narration. And there's scenes that rise up from the stage floor that represent different eras in American history as well. The show moves through major historical periods, including the American Revolution, the Civil War, the 1876 Centennial International Exhibition, industrialization, and the Great Depression. There's also scenes that are connected to the Pilgrims' arrival at Plymouth Rock, the Boston Tea Party, George Washington at Valley Forge, and the writing of the Declaration of Independence, slavery, and the invention of the telephone. So a major musical centerpiece of the attraction is the song Golden Dream. The song was written by Robert Malone with lyrics by show producer Randy Bright and is most prominently used during the finale montage of famous Americans and American moments. The attraction's finale was updated in 1993 and then again in 2007 and then again in 2018. And in the 2018 update, they added more recent figures with a new arrangement by Harvey Mason Jr. The show is and then it says too, the show is not just necessarily about presenting history as a timeline, but more about the America as an idea and the ongoing, innovations and continuing building of America.
With all the other stuff they're doing.
So it says America has always been full of conflict, ambition, invention, struggle, and hope. And then having Franklin and Twain as host, Disney gives the show 2 voices from different centuries who can look at the country from different angles. I'll say we haven't watched this show in a while. I would say it's been a minute. I would say since we've sat. It's
been a while since we've actually sat through the show.
I remember when I was a kid, I liked this show more than the Hall of Presidents show.
Oh, but then it's more exciting. It's got more stuff going on.
But then when we rewatched it as adults, I actually prefer the Hall of Presidents show over this show because I found this show to be very, like, it's very patriotic. If you're not from America and you're watching the show, specifically, I've heard people who are from England because they do talk about the Revolutionary War. So those from England, when they watch this show, they're like, wow, we're really beaten down on the British in this show. Because it's, the American patriots.
It's an American Pavilion.
Independence, right? So
it's there to portray a certain feeling.
I know, it's just kind of funny when you think about it. It's like, yeah, it's a very nationalist show, I would say, overall. But I mean, like, that's the whole point is the pavilion's all about America. And I mean, like, the park is in America too. So of course you're going to have a very big American-based show. So
I'm not a big history buff. I think the show is entertaining, but I'm not a history buff. So the show's not my favorite because it's not something that I normally would read about or go see something about. It's just not my thing. But it is a very interesting show.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like to all of the moving sets, pizzas that are in it, the ones that come up from the floor and from the sides and everything.
They do a very good job on it.
It's very engaging in that part because again, it's not just a screen.
Right.
You're just
even at
watching
the
a
end
little
when
film.
they open the curtains behind all those statues with the lights and the things, it gives you that patriotic feeling.
No, for sure. Definitely makes you feel excited to be in America.
Yes.
So
being American.
For sure. Now I would say the other attraction overall in the pavilion is the Voices of Liberty. So this is a choir group that will sing inside of the rotunda during the day, and they all have different shows during the day as well too. Usually their times will be posted outside, and I'll have a little bit more information on that because I actually put them in the fun facts. So, but all right. So then the third entertainment, a lot of entertainment in the American Pavilion. Some of the other pavilions have no entertainment, no attractions.
No attractions.
America's got 3. So again, we got the show, we got the Voices of Liberty, and we also have the American Gardens Theater. So this is technically across from the pavilion facing the World Showcase Lagoon. And this is that big outdoor amphitheater that it's like one of the main major sources of live entertainment in general in Epcot. Now they did recently build that second theater that's like in the front of the park, but this theater is still way larger with way more seating overall. So it's still, I would say, the main one.
As a theater, yes.
Yeah. So this theater hosts concerts, singers, bands, and different entertainment acts. And it's the home to during the Epcot festivals, like they do Garden Rocks during the International Flower and Garden Festival and Eat to the Beat during the International Food and Wine Festival. The theater also has hosted a larger productions over the years, including Blast with an exclamation point, Barrage, and a revised version of Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance. And it says originally the theater was designed as a fully open air venue, but they did later refurbishments that added that partial covering, and they also added more backstage area, dressing rooms, and like equipment areas for the backstage. And then of course during the holiday season, the theater becomes home to the Candlelight Processional. Right. So this is a very famous, very popular fan favorite for everyone, honestly. So this production includes a full orchestra, a mass choir that is usually, for the most part, all Disney cast members, and they perform traditional holiday music while a celebrity guest narrates and retells the nativity story. And this show goes back and all the way in history back to Disneyland in 1960, and then it came to Magic Kingdom in 1971, and then relocated to Epcot in 1994. So it's always been around for the most part.
Right, wow.
So yeah, but we're big fans of this theater. My mom loves this theater. So
I gotta tell you, free concert. We've seen some really good groups there.
Yeah, so usually the way the shows work is that they'll have the performer. So like for Garden Rocks or Eat to the Beat, they'll announce the list, I would say, a month or a few months in advance before the festival actually starts. And then, periodically throughout the weeks, they'll have different acts that come in, and they'll usually play for like 1 or 2 or 3 nights or something like that. And then on the days when they're performing, they usually have like 3 sets. So they'll have like a really early, sometimes 4 sets, it depends, sometimes 2 sets.
And the sets aren't always the same. It's not like they're singing the same. So they may be singing all their songs within 3 sets.
So what was that one artist we saw that you liked?
Guess Who?
Yeah, we saw Guess Who. There was another one that we saw more recently.
Flo and Eddie and the Turtles.
Yeah,
we saw Guess Who. We saw not the Plain White Tees. Was it Plain White Tees? No.
I think it was Simple Plan.
Simple Plan. We saw Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean, that was what I was thinking of.
I'm trying to think who else we've seen. We've seen so many acts there.
So they have different acts, but so during the day, they'll have like, their 5 p.m. set, and they only perform, like during the sets, they only perform maybe for like 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, 20 minutes to a half hour.
But again, then there's a break.
They take a break,
and then they come back. And
so
again,
Guess Who? We saw all 3 sets. I was so excited.
So that's what I mean to say. So again, there's multiple sets. So if you want to sit there and wait for all the sets, you can, or you can come back and,
or you could just be hanging out like we do. Like we don't always necessarily wait online for that. But I got to tell you, if I lived in Florida, I'd be going to Epcot every time they had a new person.
Yeah, because it's like fun. And again, if you already have annual passes or tickets,
God, it's a free concert.
The concert's included with your ticket, which is pretty cool. And sometimes they'll bring in big guests. And so that's kind of fun as well too. So you always get those little concerts. And even if you're just walking by, sometimes it's fun to just hear the live music. I know the Canadian Pavilion also has that live music band as well too, and the UK Pavilion as well actually. But again, lots of live music, which is fun. And then as well, going back to the Candlelight Processional, again, they sometimes will bring in big, massive celebrities for the the
People
candlelight
wait
procession.
online a long time for those people.
Yeah, so you can get those dinner packages. So you can get dinner, and then you get like priority seating at the
Right, you're
candlelight
guaranteed a
processional.
seat. Right.
Yes, you can get those, especially if there's a celebrity guest or a band or singer that you really want to see. So like we saw John Stamos a couple years ago, and it was pouring rain, so crowded for John Stamos.
No,
that's
we
for
sat
sure.
in we
So
stood in the back.
crowded.
We didn't get a seat, but even we wanted to see John Stamos.
Yeah, we want to see John Stamos.
Yes.
So we stood in the back, like multiple people thick, that we were in the back watching in the rain.
Yes,
So
we didn't see the
stood
whole
in the
thing, but we
rain.
did see him.
So yeah, but it's fun though. And again, it's such a great show too. I really do like the candlelight processional. It's really nice. And I remember as well too when John Stamos, because he didn't do it for a few years and then he came back. And I remember our friends had gone and they said they were there during the middle of the day and there was this long line by China and they're like, what's this line for? And it was like almost like to Norway. And they found out it was a line, people waiting to get seats for the candlelight procession.
I know,
in like
people wait
hours.
online for hours in the sun just to get in and be able to sit down
get it
just
up and close.
to see it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
In a way, I mean, like if you're a big fan of one of these celebrities, in a way it makes sense because again, you're not paying to see them. And again, if you already have your annual pass or your ticket, it's included with your ticket, so you've already paid to do it.
And if you really want to see them up close, if you really want to be close
so if you
and
get
see
close,
them,
it's like
then
for
you've
some-
got to go in and sit down.
Yeah, for some of these celebrities to see some of their concerts or their shows, like you're paying hundreds of dollars for that ticket just to see them for that show. But here you get to see them as part of your Disney experience, which is kind of nice. So you get, the two birds with one stone type of mentality. But yeah, but again, lots of celebrities will come to candlelight procession. It's definitely fun. It's fun to see even once, even if you're not super
And it's
religious.
funny because when you said that, I didn't think of, like when you said about the theater, I never put the two of them together. Like I know the theater's there and the American Pavilion is there, but in my mind they're not connected.
Even though they're across from
That's
each
just
other.
a theater at Epcot. Until you just said that, it never dawned on me that that's part of the American Adventure.
Well, it is. It's called the American Gardens Theater.
Yes, I know, but I just thought it was a theater.
That's okay. But all right,
Okay, I
let's
learned
get
something
to
new today.
a few other things for the American Pavilion. We have our food options, of course. So the American Adventure Pavilion does not have a table service restaurant, but it does have a few quick service and snack options. So the main food location is the quick service, the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. And this is focused on American barbecue in a very broad sense because barbecue really differs state by state. And
Yes,
even
they do
town
have
by
different
town.
tastes in certain things on their menu. It's supposed to be very good.
Yeah, so again, some people say serving barbecue smoked by the pit master, I guess is how it's described. And so so a lot of different barbecue in there. And the menu, for the most part, they've done, I think, a few different slate menu updates. I know it has a few different things from like the South Carolina barbecue, which is really like
got
Texas
the
barbecue.
St. Louis, they've
St.
got
Louis barbecue.
different things that go on.
So different things to experience the American barbecue. But yeah, we have not eaten there recently, though, I would say.
No, because we don't usually eat fast food in Epcot. We usually go out to dinner.
Yeah, so
we
that's the main
have
thing.
eaten when it used to be just the hamburgers and frankfurters and French fries, and when you were younger.
And I have had their mac and cheese there because when I was on my bachelorette, some of my friends were really hungry and we were struggling to find food because it was so late and we didn't plan very well, for being quite honest. So I remember some of them got food from there and it was pretty good. So but yeah, that was the mac and cheese that we got in there. But then also here in the American Pavilion, there was also Fife and Drum, which serves the turkey legs, hot dogs, and smoothies. So and I think they also have the popcorn as well too in that little stand. So you can get the classic turkey leg if you want to feel like a real colonial with your turkey leg.
Turkey leg in your hand.
And then there's also the funnel cake stand, which is located to the right of the pavilion, and they offer different funnel cakes with different toppings.
That's very popular.
Yeah, people love their funnel cake, and it's a good price for how much funnel cake you
Oh,
get.
yeah, it's a big portion.
Yeah, it's like you get a huge funnel cake, I think, for like $8 or $9 or something like that. But like for the amount of food you're getting for $8 or $9 is like for some of these places, I think in Italy, like for some of the gelatos, like you're paying that same price for a smaller cup of gelato or something.
Gelato, right?
But you have to like funnel cake is the only thing I would say. I know I don't love funnel cake; it's not my favorite. But then there's also Block and Hans or Block and Hands, which serves American craft beers and Mickey pretzels. So again, so a lot of the American favorites, right? You got your barbecue, your turkey
place to
legs,
hang out.
your hot dogs, your funnel cakes, pretzels, beer. That's what represents the American food.
Pavilion.
So-
Well, that's the American food. You're going to eat in the American Pavilion. I mean, hot
For
dogs.
the most part, yeah.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, beer, pretzels. That's a standard.
All right, and then let's just talk about some shopping options. There actually isn't that much shopping overall in the American Pavilion.
They have a very small gift shop.
Yeah, and the
their
main
little
thing
stands.
is the Art of Disney store that is, again, the Art of Disney store that's to the right of the pavilion. So if you're facing the building
pavilion.
itself, it's kind of to the right. And this shopper offers different prints, gallery wraps, and they have matted or framed artwork created by different Disney artists. But again, there isn't, and then they have a few carts that are also outside as well, kind of by the funnel cake stand.
Right. And in the Art of
There's a
Disney,
few
they also have
carts.
some clothing, like clothing with American flags on it, like very little. Very,
I
very
feel like that's
little.
not really in the building. That's again in the carts.
No, there's a couple of shirts and sweatshirts and
Maybe
not sweatshirts, but
inside?
sweaters.
Yeah.
Like nice clothing that has like American, like just mixed in with the art a little
Yeah, but I would
bit.
say if you're looking for
Yeah,
like the
very.
T-shirt with like Mickey and the
Yes,
American
that's
flag,
outside.
that's in the carts. I would
Yes,
say
the
overall.
carts are outside.
They have a few things, but again, overall they don't have a lot. And I
No.
would say during the festivals they will have more. Like during Flower and Garden, they'll set up more like Flower and Garden type festivals around there, and more booths and everything like that.
Yeah, I would
And-
think that they should have more American merchandise.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I feel like because America's very also in tune too with veterans and you know the military and retired veterans and
Yes,
everything.
I think if they did a lot of military stuff or things like that, or I think they would sell it.
Yeah, perhaps they don't want to be too polarizing to the international
Could be.
audience. So I'm not sure. Yeah, because I feel like that would be kind of popular. But again, who knows? Again, so not too much shopping overall in the American Pavilion.
No.
But I guess they got a lot of other entertainment that the other pavilions don't have. So, all right. So let's just get to some fun facts now. So fun facts. The gardens are planted in red, white, and blue, and the roses are varieties named after U.S. presidents, which I thought was
Oh, I
cool.
didn't know that.
I never
Okay.
noticed that, honestly. I guess it also depends because we go a lot during the Flower and Garden Festival. So often that changes what the landscape is going to look like.
Right.
And at the moment, they have had Tiana as the main topiary in the American Pavilion. In the past, they've had Pluto as the American Pavilion topiary. So it kind of just changed over time of like where they're going to put their
Right, they just
topiaries.
changed each year.
Yeah, but right now it's been Tiana, which I think is fun. All right, so the American Adventure Show has a really big capacity. It can seat 1,024 guests per show. And again, for a theater attraction, this is pretty big. So even some of the other theaters, even in Magic Kingdom, aren't as large as this show is. So again, I feel like the theater is really large. Because we haven't done it in a couple of
Oh, the
visits.
theater is gigantic.
Yeah.
I think the waiting area, like the lobby of the building, is small compared to what the theater is. Because when you get there early, if you want to wait for the show, there's really no place to sit down. There's no place to really, it's tight to hang out in, like to wait for the show to start. And that show's a long show, so you have to wait. If you get there, like at the beginning of when it started, you have to wait for it to go. That theater is massive, considering when you walk into that building, it doesn't seem that big. I'm telling you, next time we go, I'm looking to see where
Yeah, I
all this
know.
extra footage is above it.
All right, and this is where I have a little bit more about the Voices of Liberty. So they are the pavilion's 8-member a cappella group, and they perform different patriotic choral music in the rotunda. The group has performed for several U.S. presidents, including Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter. So on the Disney website, they actually have their own little page because they've been around for so long. But it says too that they perform special holiday performances as well too. So for instance, for 4th of July, I'm sure too for the 250th year as well, they'll have
Oh,
special
God, they're probably gonna have a
performances.
lot.
They'll also do special performances for Labor Day, Veterans Day, President's Day, Flag Day, and Memorial Day. So again, all the holidays.
They're
around
cool
the
to
US
watch
for the
because they're
most
all in
part.
period costume and they really do a really good job.
And I know too during the holiday season they'll do also do
They're all
like some
Christmas
songs
carols
as well,
and yeah,
too.
they're
So-
really good.
But again, it says too on the website that you can check the My Disney Experience app for the times because the times do change like per day. Like the times definitely change, especially too like to be a part of this a cappella group. You know, it takes a lot to get in, so to speak. So again, I've seen like a lot of people have been part of it throughout the years. I've shared their stories of like how fun it is and to sing in this like historic place at this point
being
now.
part of it, yeah. No,
And
they are
also,
very
just
good.
to note, the last thing is that their performances are usually around 15 minutes, is what it says. All right, and then our last little fun fact here is there are a few hidden Mickeys overall in the pavilion. So first is it says you can look for 3 holes in a girder in the foyer, and then during the show, when the Statue of Liberty torch set rises, the cloud of smoke behind the torch forms a Mickey.
Really?
That's
wow, I
apparently
never
2
noticed
hidden
that.
Mickeys.
Okay.
So yeah, but that is what I had on the.
We're gonna have to
American
go
Pavilion.
next time we go.
Yeah, go see the show again. Yeah, because I remember when I saw the show, I've always liked the show, and I've always liked the show, especially during the Civil War, because I think the Civil War is just really interesting part of American history. It's technically the only war that's taken place, or it's the last war that's taken place on U.S. soil.
US soil.
It's been so long in theory.
It was so polarizing. It was.
It is, and it's just quite fascinating, how the Civil War ran and everything. But I remember that part because they play another little song during that part.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a song where there's like these 2 brothers and they
Brothers.
fight on opposite sides, and one of the brothers gets killed. I remember my brother was very sensitive growing up, and he used to cry. I mean, like, I guess it is sad. I
is-
mean, like,
I mean,
obviously, it is very
the
sad.
show
But Luke
itself-
was very sensitive to growing
He's
up.
sensitive to everything. The show itself, like I said, is a very good show. They do tug at the heartstrings. They do tug at your patriotic, feeling. It does do different, like, because the way they incorporate all the different aspects, when they do the when they have the animatronics, especially when they do the fair, and they have all that, and you have the Statue of Liberty, and you have all the music playing, and like I said, it does draw you in.
Yeah, no,
I have to
fun.
say that I think they did a very good job, at least on the American Pavilion. If it's going to be the host, at least they did a good job.
But I wonder too, like you're saying, if they'll ever update it to make
Well, that's it, because it
different.
stops at a certain point. And
so, for instance, we haven't really done Disney news recently, just because we've been pre-recording like wild. But in real time, it's just been announced that the Carousel of Progress. Well, actually, by the time this goes up, the Carousel of Progress is closing July 6, 2026, to be fully
Closing
refurbished.
this week.
They are going to be updating all the scenes again, pushing it from like the turn of the century, starting the show in the 1960s. They're going to include a Walt Disney animatronic as well too. Sarah's going to get her own scene, which I think is really fun. That's what I'm most looking forward to. So it's interesting that they're going to update the Carousel of Progress again to make it more modern. So I know they've been talking for years about updating Spaceship Earth to make Spaceship Earth more modern.
I know.
But it's like, I kind of forgot about this show. And I'm like, they could update this show too and make this show
That's
more
why I said
modern.
when you were talking, I'm saying I'm surprised that it's only going to stop there, because there's been so much history since
I know.
then.
I almost feel like this is the show to update, because it would revitalize this show that a lot of people walk right past it, don't really care that much about this show. Maybe they'll
And
stop
especially when
in.
it says it's a half hour, they're like, no.
Yeah, because it's long and
Yes.
it's like, so it's a
It's
long
history,
show.
yeah.
And again, if you're not really that interested in American history, there's other shows and rides and stuff like that
that
to
should
do.
rather be going on.
Yeah, so I wonder if they revitalize this show, if it would bring more audiences to come back to want to see this show again or something like that. Because again, it's like
Because a lot's happened since the show ends.
No, for sure. It's like, what other American history would they want to touch on? Or again, do they just want to keep it more rooted again in that classic American
classic
history, like
history.
the old American history, rather than the more newer American history?
Well, at
so
this
to
point, I
speak?
think they're doing so much, I don't think they're going to get to it yet.
Oh yeah,
So
not right now.
we have
Especially
a
not that
couple
they
of
do
years.
Carousel of
They're
Progress.
changing too much
so.
for me. I don't like change.
It's funny because when they announced Carousel of Progress, it was so mixed. A lot of people were
a
very
lot of
upset
people.
by
I've been
it.
seeing so much about who's upset,
Most
who's
people
this,
were
who's
upset
that.
about it, I would
Yes.
say. It's funny because when I saw it, I actually got really excited because I was like, actually, I think it'd be really fun to have an update to Carousel of Progress. And that's coming from someone like my graduation cap was the Carousel of Progress theme. Like, I love Carousel of Progress. And so, but
Well,
I
the
think
theme
it's just,
doesn't have to change. It's
yeah,
just,
but I
you
just
know.
think it's fun sometimes to get new updates and to see how things change.
Well,
and
I think
stuff
it'll
and
be
how
fun
things
because we go
progress.
so often
So-
that we see the same shows over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again. And as much as you like the shows and you miss them when they're not there, new things take over. And,
Yeah, and then it's like you never know how you're going to like the new things, and then it makes the old things special that you remember it from your memories.
Yeah,
I suppose.
memories.
But yeah, but in the original show again, now it's one of those things where we're sad we're never going to see the original show again because it's closing soon. So
I
we're
know,
not going.
we
until
won't
December.
see it. No, December it'll
Yeah,
be gone.
so it'll be gone by the time we go. But it's funny because I mean, like, there's plenty of recordings on YouTube of this show.
Oh, you can
have,
see it.
People have
Yes.
recorded this show in high
Yes.
definition.
Yes, you
So-
can definitely see it. It's not
yeah.
the same. It's not the same as sitting there. I mean, and every time we go and see
Yeah.
it. It's like
but
one
I
of
just
those
say that
things.
because some of our ride histories we've done, when I've gone and tried to watch, like for instance, when we did our test track episode, when I was trying to watch the video of World of Motion, there was like only one or two videos, not high def, very blurry from like the 90s, and I'm like, all right, this is what we got to
This is
remember
what you
World
got.
of Motion. We don't have a lot to remember it
Yeah,
by.
let's just see
Whereas
what it
again,
is.
Today we have a lot of modern. I'm sure two people are going to go now and film it again to make
Right.
sure it's for prosperity.
Well, as long as they don't touch my It's a Small World, I'm fine.
I know, but in Carousel of Progress, again, I always think of the little girl in the first scene when Sarah
she
is
did.
doing the ironing, and that little girl is just staying there helping her iron, and then we never see her again.
Who
Never
is
see her
she?
again. She
Right.
disappears. She's not Patricia. A lot of people say
No,
it's
'cause
Patricia.
Patricia's in the
It's
other
not
side
Patricia.
getting ready,
Yeah,
right?
Patricia's in that scene. She's not Patricia. So no one knows who that little girl is.
I know,
so
they
never
just
see her
lost that
again.
little girl. You'd think they would have removed her at that point.
I
if
don't
they
know.
weren't
I
gonna
wonder
do
if
anything.
maybe she'll get a storyline in the new updated version.
Oh,
They'll
who
include
knows?
her again.
Maybe they'll have more than two kids.
I know, but the other memory I have, I don't know, we're talking about America, but we're now talking about Carousel of Progress. The other thing with Carousel of Progress too is it's just funny because in the other scene that's I forget which era it is, but it's when they're all getting ready for 4th of July, and then they're going to the big 4th of July parade, and Patricia is dressing up as the Statue of Liberty, and she says like, "If my new boyfriend Theodore sees me like this," and I remember when we started doing that because my husband's name is Theodore, so I was just like, "Oh my god,
Look at that."
I was like, "That's so
Well,
funny."
technically it is connected because it is an
It's American
American
history, yeah.
ride. I mean, when you go to Magic Kingdom, what's that and the Hall of Presidents are the two most American things
really
in that
is, yeah.
park at this point. I mean, the paddle
for
boat was
attractions,
American,
yeah.
but that's gone. So
Well, you could argue Main Street is very American because it's
yes,
based
it's
off
that
small
old
town,
that
Missouri,
old town
so.
thing. But as far as rides go, I mean, Carousel of Progress is like the American ride.
Yeah, and Magic Kingdom at least. So again, all connected. This again, Hall of Presidents, Carousel of Progress, all the core American things you can do within the parks. So that's what I'm saying. For this show, I wonder if they'd ever update it or change it. So
Never
I
know.
suppose we'll see. Because I mean, like I'm always all for a dark ride. I love a good dark ride. Obviously, you gotta have space to put a dark ride in.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool to have a dark ride that was also like American history too.
American.
I don't know, just something interesting. So
I don't know. They have space on the side, they have that whole courtyard on the side. That the only thing they really ever use it for is they have tables back there to sit on now.
I feel like they should add like a classic American beer garden back there.
They should.
Like,
that would be a great idea.
because a beer garden is really popular, and I feel like all over America, especially where I used to live in Mass.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like a beer garden. Would be good. I mean, like they sell beer, and I feel like it's already kind of set up to be like that.
It's set up to be like that because you can go back there and
But-
sit at the tables. And then at Christmas time, they used to have Santa Claus there. Do they still have him there?
Yeah, they still do.
He's still
Santa
the one.
there,
Yeah, okay.
The
We used to
classic
always
Santa
go
in
on
red.
Thanksgiving weekend, and we used to go over Thanksgiving because your school was closed for the whole week of Thanksgiving. So we used to go all week Thanksgiving, and what would happen is Thanksgiving night they would start with the Christmas decorations, and everything would immediately the next day show up, and we'd see Santa, and then the next day we would fly home.
But all right, so that is what we had for the American Pavilion for this episode. We'll have our Disney quotes now. This is one of my favorite Disney quotes, actually. So this is said by Sam Eagle, the Muppet, Sam Eagle, when he says, "A salute to all nations, but mostly America." So I love that quote. When it was in Muppet Vision 3D that he says it other times too.
Okay.
But when the first time I heard it was in Muppet Vision 3D, and I thought it was so funny. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, I love that. That is the best quote ever. I should have bought the mug. I saw a mug with him saying Sam Eagle, "A salute to all nations, but mostly America." I didn't buy it, but I should have gotten it. I'm sure I could get it somewhere online still.
Yeah.
But yes, but happy 4th of July to everyone. 250 years to America.
Yes.
Again, a salute to all nations, but again, mostly America.
Yes.
So let us know, what do you think of the American Pavilion? Let us know if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. Again, we'll have a dedicated Instagram post on our Instagram, Almost Amanda X, also linked in the description as well. But we'll love to know, what do you think of the American Pavilion? How do you think they should update the show maybe one day?
Right.
Is one of your favorite meals at the Regal Eagle Smokehouse that we need to try?
Have you enjoyed it? Have you seen the singers? Everything?
Do you like going to the theater? Do you consider the theater not a part of the pavilion?
I know.
Did
Did you just learn that today too? They consider that part of the American Pavilion?
But let us know. But until then, we'll see you very soon.
Bye-bye.